It's time, back by popular demand. Just saying with Mark
and Fallon.
Here to do a movie review for you, the people. Hi. So, as we mentioned in our last podcast, we were going to do our first movie review, Avengers Infinity War. Now, Fallon had a couple of different titles for it, but the official title is Avengers Infinity War. And even though it's harder to see, we brought some of our friends to help represent this momentous day as we talk about the latest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and anything else we feel like just saying to you guys today. So, she's got a list. I like to wing it off the top of my head. So we hopefully, you can't just jump in and help me out here. We hope that you enjoy this latest
Let
episode.
me do your thing.
Okay.
Well, I thought we could start from the beginning of the movie. I don't know how long this is going to be. It's not going to be 10 minutes, Robert. I'm sorry.
You thinking it's going to be longer or shorter, or what are you thinking? Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, if we go from the beginning of the movie,
That's right.
it's
All right.
probably going to be longer than 10 minutes.
We're going to go ahead and do spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it yet, I will click off of this video.
But we recommend you to come back when you have watched the movie.
Yes, please.
So, 3, 2, 1. Fallon and I are still here, and that's key if you saw the end of Infinity War. Alright, so, we're going to begin.
Alright, so, overall thoughts of the movie.
I love the movie. We've seen it 4 times. I loved it better than Age of Ultron.
Yes, I agree.
Still not sure if I love it more than Civil War or Winter Soldier yet. I've seen all of those a few times, and those are all probably my favorites, along with the first Avengers. But this is probably up there.
This is probably my favorite of all of them.
The humor, the interaction, finally having the cast together out of both movies, which obviously, if you know, the Avengers came together with the Guardians of the Galaxy to defeat Thanos, who's bent on killing half of the universe population. So yeah. I hope that you are still there, able to watch this.
Yeah, they had a really good humor, good camaraderie with all the characters. I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen in this movie when they were all going to be in there. But I thought they did a really good job working off of each other. So I wanted to start out talking about the beginning of the movie because I have some questions.
Talk to me.
So the beginning of the movie opens up at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
That's correct.
Right?
During the after credit scene. That's correct.
Exactly. Where Thanos'
ship
comes up.
Right.
And I'm confused as to whenever Thor says that half of his people were killed, why wouldn't it have been all of the people? Because Thanos blew up the ship after.
But in between the movies, we don't could be safely assumed that they sent off half of the population from the ship, including hopefully Valkyrie and Korg, to their soon-to-be home here on Earth in Norway.
Okay, I guess. And let's talk about Loki's death.
Okay.
That was awful. And the way that he died was like the crack of his neck. Oh my gosh. Like,
I knew it was coming based on the trailers. He wasn't featured in much, but it was very crack and he's gone.
I mean, just like his eyes turning bloodshot and that crack. I don't know. I didn't realize how much I cared about Loki until that happened.
From the opening scene, you knew that Marvel wasn't playing around with this one.
You love to hate him. And I read in some reviews, some people say that that's really uncharacteristic of Loki because he saw that the Hulk got taken down by Thanos. Why would he go up to him with a little knife after all of that? It was very uncharacteristic of him to do that.
Because in the cinematic universe, he's very about his brother, and he was trying to rescue his brother without thinking about the stone. Or there could be a subplot that we still don't know about that's coming in the next one, which is not going to be entitled Infinity War Part 2, but something else. But it's very clear from what watching, to me, from the last couple movies, anytime Thor and Loki had some beef, Loki was very emotionally distraught by it. So a better final way for Loki to go than to try and save his brother.
When he finally acknowledged that he was the son of Odin.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
We have a friend that would have probably laughed through that scene because she laughed through Wonder Woman's emotional scenes like that. I just cried, but she probably would have laughed. But yeah, we lose Heimdall, we lose Hulk gets his buttocks beaten, and Loki, we lose Loki all in the first few minutes. Son of a biscuit, this movie was not playing
I
around.
thought we were going to lose Thor there for a minute. The special effects in this movie were really good. Like, whenever Thanos was holding Thor, like, trying to kill him so that Loki would give him the Tesseract, that was like, no, they are not going to kill Thor this quickly into the movie.
First the man loses an eye, then he almost lost his life. He's had a rough series in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Hang on, please. No, they are not paying me to drink this, but if they do want to, they can leave a comment in this, below.
Yeah, the special effects I thought were really good. And I really liked this one with the Hulk. Like whenever Bruce was like half turning into the Hulk and half Bruce. Like they've come a pretty long way since the first Avengers. First Avengers wasn't, it was just like he's the Hulk and then all of a sudden he's Bruce. So
now
like,
they're fighting for control.
Yeah.
But
so,
after he got his buttocks beat, it was clear that Hulk did not want to come back out, so him and Banner were fighting throughout the rest of the movie, as Hulk did not want to come back out and face Thanos or anybody else for that matter.
And what do you think about the conspiracy that Loki was in disguise as Bruce Banner?
I think that is horse manure.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably have to see it a 5th, 6th, maybe 7th time to take notes and really
8th,
observe.
9th, 10th.
But I don't think that at this time. Just based on Bruce Banner being Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe that's why he couldn't turn into the Hulk.
maybe. We're going to have to wait and see. It's good.
Yeah. I really like the play off of Doctor Strange and Iron Man. I really, really wanted a Sherlock Holmes reference. Like, just something. Come on. They couldn't have given us just a little jab, just a little acknowledgement. That would have been awesome. I would have been fangirling all over that.
The reason is because he stars in the British TV show, the actor that plays Doctor Strange, and the actor that plays Iron Man stars
I'm
in the...
sure they know this.
You don't know that?
No, you do.
Do you guys know that? Do you? Okay, there we go. Anywho, then Robert Downey stars in the other movie series, which they recently announced the third one will be out in 2020. Carry on.
And I read that some people were mad that the Hulk wasn't really in this movie that much. Did you feel that way?
The first viewing, yes, only because I was watching the trailers and waiting for him to show back up. But with the amount of characters they had to fill in, the special effects, plus it was story driven as to why he wasn't in there. He wasn't in it for the opening scene, but I was okay with giving Bruce Banner some time this time.
I didn't miss it at all. I didn't feel that way through that movie.
Especially with Banner and the Hulkbuster uniform
I thought he
end.
was good on his own. Yeah, I thought he was hilarious. I thought he did a good job. What did you think about Squidward?
I love the Squidward saying,
What do they call it? The Children of Thanos or something?
"You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards."
That was good.
It was
Tell me that main guy didn't look like Tales from the Crypt.
Who?
Squidward.
I didn't think of it until now. Maybe.
I'm telling you. Tell me.
Yes, you can't see my movie thing on my iPad, so let's zoom in with the glary iPhone. Yes, audience, please tell us.
He looks like the guy from Tales from the Crypt.
He does. Yes, this close to where I can see it. Yes, I agree. Google at home.
And you
Tales
should
of the
know
Crypt, dude.
Who Tales of the Crypt guy is.
Of course.
He definitely looks like him to me.
He was probably my favorite of those kid villains. I don't know why. And I like the homage to Aliens, the second Alien in the Alien quadrilogy. Whenever he was killed through the ship through the exact same way the mother alien was killed. And then even if you watch close enough, the way he was frozen in ice and floating in space was the exact same way the queen alien was set up. So I thought that was a pretty cool throwback to Aliens.
He had to remind me about that because I didn't know about it.
She hasn't seen it.
I have seen it.
You've seen Aliens?
Yes, I have.
We'll see.
What did you think about... I noticed, and I don't know if anyone else did, but Wanda was losing her Russian accent. I felt like in Age of Ultron and even Civil War, she had the heavy Russian accent, and then this one, it was kind of like...
Because she started the movie on vacation, and then she was going through a very emotional time knowing that her robot boyfriend was about to have his head torn out.
Accent went away?
So as she got more emotional, it became more subdued.
I mean, not that was that big of a deal, but it was just something I noticed like the second or third time.
However, after research and after Age of Ultron came out and realizing that they were together in the comic books and then hinting at and then Civil War, I did like them together, and I was sad by the end of this one, and Vision probably won't be back, or at least in the same capacity. But I fell in love with her as an actress with this movie. I think she's great as Wanda, or Scarlet, the Scarlet Witch. But I didn't notice the accent.
I definitely did. And I swear, no matter how many times we see that movie, whenever Vision gets stabbed, and that first scene with them, it scares me every time. It's so loud.
That or the car whenever they first arrive in New York and Iron Man's helping that one person, all of a sudden the car just zips up.
It hits the pole, scares us every time.
Yep. I needed a new pair of shorts.
What did you think about Star-Lord and the Thor rivalry? That was pretty fun. Sorry.
Ever since... That wasn't me, that was our dogs. Ever since every actor that's been cast in every movie that's come out over the thing, it's been fun. Like, oh, that would be great together. You got to get those two together, and to have them finally together in this movie and seeing Peter Quill interact with Tony Stark and, like you said, Thor and
no, you're not
with the accent. This movie just, you could see it, even though the ending kind of leaves you like flabbergasted. The whole movie itself just leaves you wanting more, and just you enjoy the interaction between all of them. The Hulk ice cream, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It was really talky.
It's
just the little conversations they would have was just hilarious.
There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man. And it's just the directors of this one, who also directed Winter Soldier and Civil War, really know how to do a number with an ensemble cast like this, and then still give proper history to the entire 10 years of the cinematic universe. So I liked all the interactions and all the little throwbacks that they did.
I feel like Thor was kind of part of the Guardians of the Galaxy pretty much through the whole movie.
Which this was the first movie that they had James Gunn, who directed the Guardians movies, still interact with this one. And the cast was nervous because they've only interacted with him, but they let the characters be themselves. And even with the opening 70s song, Rubber Band Man, they still honored everything. So I couldn't tell a change in directors just because they gave that creative freedom to the actors.
Did you feel like there were too many characters in this movie? Because I feel like there were so... I mean, it didn't bother me, but I kind of wanted more screen time with some of the characters because I felt like we were almost flipping channels between
And that'll happen in the next
movies. Because just there were so many characters, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But
I'm sure certain characters like Captain and Hawkeye will be back. Will get their screen time. Compared to others like Peter Krill, who probably won't be back most of the next movie. To give the others their fair amount of screen time. And also, even for people like Pepper Potts, who they're only there for like maybe a minute or two. The Red Skull, who finally showed up after 8 or 9 years, and he only had a few minutes, but it was still integral to the part. It was still cool to see all those characters. So for me, as a comic book nerd, I loved all the characters in the movie.
And just a side note, the Pepper and Tony thing, I've heard that people call them pepperoni, and I just think that's adorable. Pepperoni. It's so cute.
Okay.
And I feel like he's going to end up surviving through the next movie because they brought up the whole...
We'll get to that at the end, our speculations for the end of it.
I'm just saying, because that scene happened towards the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I think he's going to survive.
I will just say my piece later. Carry on. That's just you.
Whenever,
I feel that way too, though.
Whenever Thor got the axe, was it an axe?
Yeah.
And then Groot put the handle on it. I feel like, and maybe this is a stupid thing to bring up, but wouldn't that break?
Well, it won't break. He had to break his arm.
I'm saying the wood is the handle. Wouldn't that break with as strong as Thor is?
No.
So Groot is stronger than Thor?
No. Groot was worthy of making his hammer, and by binding it together with that metal and that Asgardian strength and the lightning, made it indestructible. So that only Thor and Groot were worthy enough to hold that hammer.
I guess. Wow. Also, another question. Whenever Thor got the axe, how did he know to go to Wakanda that the battle was happening there?
GPS.
Okay. These are just questions that I have. Maybe they're silly questions.
I did not think anything of it.
I mean, how did he know?
Because you've got to remember, the power of his new hammer has the power of the Bifrost. It took him to where it was needed. Just like at the beginning of the movie, before Heimdall died, sent Hulk to where he was needed at Doctor Strange's Sanctorium.
That's true.
I know it's true.
I didn't think about that.
Obviously. That or GPS.
Got it.
Thanks.
Thor GPS. And I was curious, like, during all these issues that they've been having the past few years, why haven't they called in Captain Marvel?
Well,
or is that something that's going to be answered in
I would imagine, since they're making her movie now, that'll be answered probably at the end of her movie or in the end credit scene. Because she's probably more of a global scale. And maybe she's out in space, or maybe we don't know. Because if you think about it, Nick Fury's pager wasn't a normal pager. It was a special kind of pager. So she may not even be chilling here. She might be out on Mars or something.
Fair enough.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
Fair enough.
I know.
And as far as in the next movie, there's a lot of speculation or even spoilers, I don't know, that they'll use the time stone to go back in time.
I agree.
But if you notice at the end, after Thor stabbed Thanos in the chest and he said, you know, you should have went for the head, and then he snapped his fingers, what is it called?
The gauntlet.
It was destroyed.
But if you also remember, on that planet, which I forgot the name of the planet where they went to get his new hammer, there was another gauntlet.
So the theory is they would use that one
to get them to go back and get
but
the stones.
But it looked like the stones were
stones
all
might still be
messed up
intact.
too.
They could still be in. I'm not sure, because he ended up in the soul plane talking to Gamora as a child, and then he ended up wherever in his little hut, chilling somewhere. So the stones could still be working.
And as far as where Gamora was, the younger version at the end, there's a theory that that's where all of the characters that died in this movie are.
Okay. I still think she's trapped in the Soul Stone. Because you have to trade a soul to get the stone. So I think that was her. And he only looks at her like a little child still. So that's my theory.
I read that was her soul as a child.
Could be.
And I also read one theory is that he could be the one to go back because he wants to save her.
Could be.
Then resurrecting the Avengers, and then that's when they kick his butt.
I still think Tony will send them back. Well, we'll talk about that at the end. My thoughts for the next one. But no, I still think Gamora. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I didn't notice, but did they mention Ant-Man at all? I know they mentioned Hawkeye. What would
one passed away line? Him and Scott, whenever they were at the New York headquarters, and I forget who it was. I think someone had asked, and they said that they were both under house arrest as part of their deal.
Okay, so that makes more sense now. There's
And that's
also another theory that Hawkeye and Ant-Man are on some kind of secret mission.
I think both of them will be integral to the next movie, especially since Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming up. It'll go more into that whole, I forget the term, the psychedelic phase place where his wife probably is her mom. And that may play into how they bring back the rest of the cast of the next one.
So as far as the end, when he snaps his fingers and so many people dissipated, You're okay.
I'm sorry.
Made me lose my train of thought now.
At the end, he snaps his fingers.
Right. I feel like by doing that with Vision and going back in time and using the Time Stone in order to bring back Vision so he could get the stone, I feel like that kind of gave away how the second movie's going to go down.
But that's also probably why it won't be as clear as we're thinking now.
But they also killed Spider-Man and Black Panther, which everybody knows they have
Which, did they
movies
really
coming
get
out.
killed? Or are they just somewhere else? It's very tough
I'm
to
just
say.
saying, I don't know that I really left the movie feeling like people died.
I did the first time. But, like you said, knowing that a couple of them have sequels coming up, I know they'll be back.
Yeah.
But you're still left with that heart-wrenching moment.
Yeah, still, Groot was definitely... It's Groot and Spider-Man.
Winter Soldier at first, because you didn't know that was coming, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah. Well, I think at that point you're not understanding what's happening. But then everybody just starts disappearing.
Black Panther and Wanda and pretty much the whole planet except for Nebula and Iron Man.
It's like pretty much the original Avengers were left.
Even though Hawkeye wasn't featured in this one, he is one of the original Avengers. And he's one of the, like she said, one of the only ones that are left. It'll be the originals to save the day. But who will make the ultimate sacrifice or sacrifices?
A lot of people think it's going to be Iron Man making this sacrifice, but I will be so upset if it is Tony. Especially with the whole Pepper and child thing. It would be awful to do that to him. I feel like it's going to be Captain America, because I mean, he even said from the first Avengers, you know, you're not the one to lay down on a wire and let somebody crawl over you.
But that's what could make Iron Man's sacrifice that much more powerful.
This is proving him
Because
wrong.
he did try to make that sacrifice at the end of the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Before he fell back through the wormhole. However, I'm about to just say, that I do think Cap is gone. He'll make the sacrifice. Maybe he'll end up on the planet where Red Skull is, and somehow release Gamora, or he'll make the ultimate sacrifice with his soul to restore humanity. Hawkeye, I'm sure his family's going to be wiped out, but he'll be back with a vengeance. And there's a lot of characters, especially off-screen characters, that have been in the cinematic universe that we don't even know about. Or will they even be referenced again? There's a whole lot of questions. And they could have made this movie 3.5 hours, and we all would still be watching it because it's Marvel. And you really don't notice, to me, the time didn't really drag anywhere to where I was like, this movie's still going.
Yeah, it goes by very fast, and that's a good sign. It's a good movie, so.
Spider-Man will, of course, be back. I do think, the way I think it'll end, I do think, even though I could be wrong, and they could go the other way with the sacrifice, that Tony will be back. He will marry Pepper. There will be a celebration to honor those that they lost, but also honor him and Pepper, and keep Robert Downey around for future sequels, since he made $10 million for 8 minutes of Spider-Man Homecoming. He ain't gonna lose that golden goose. But I could be wrong.
I feel like he's gonna be ready to move on. I don't know.
We'll see. What do y'all think? Do you have any thoughts? Any opinions? Anything we didn't cover? Is there anything that we didn't cover? Anything you can think of? I personally loved Thanos. Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Yeah, he was good.
Just his mannerisms and everything, which, yeah, they used the motion technique thing. But he was brilliant in this role. And I'm glad he'll return in the next one. And again, there's a lot of questions leading into the next one, too. Which the Disney Fox deal isn't done yet. Comcast is trying to spoil everything for all of his fans. But how will the next one end, and where will it lead to? And of course, now that this one's on its way to potentially breaking the $2 billion record, Avengers or Marvel's rethinking, no, there'll be another Avengers, after saying previously that everything after Phase 4 will be different. With this much money and the success of bringing these casts together, you knew that would probably happen, even though I know that they probably have a structure where they want to go for the next 10 years. Which they're skipping Comic-Con this year because they're still writing off Infinity War. So it'll probably be around the Blu-ray DVD release whenever we hear something more. And hopefully have something, since they're filming it with reshoots done later this year, for the next Avengers movie, whatever it's going to be called. I think, which there's a couple different titles that they could go. Avengers.
I think it's going to be called No Time to Mourn, because Thanos said that whenever he was whenever Wanda destroyed Vision's stone and blew him up, and he said No Time to Mourn. So, and I feel like that would be a title, because they said they didn't want to release the title for the second one because it would spoil this first movie. So, to me, that would mean...
They've said a lot of stuff, so it could go either way. One of the things I think it could be is which Doctor Strange said there's only one possible outcome where they beat him. Then again, at the end of it, everything goes to hell. And everyone's mad at Peter Quill and Star-Lord for what he did. But, now granted, and all that happened after the fact, so did all that happen according to Doctor Strange's vision? But Doctor Strange said that this is all part of the Endgame. Avengers Endgame. Which, that seems too obvious because we know it's going to be the Endgame. So my other one, while I'm sitting here talking to you, is maybe it's going to be called Avengers Assemble. Because fans have been waiting for it. Why not have the final one with the main unit?
But that doesn't give away anything.
It doesn't have to. It gives you hope. Just like in that other property that Disney owns.
But they said the title gave away...
Return of the Jedi. You know that the Jedi are going to return. Avengers Assemble. You know that they're going to assemble and they're going to come back and they're going to kick buttocks and take no names That's just my theory. I'm just saying.
They're gonna take names. No.
Take it.
What was it? What was it that Mantis
They're gonna take
They're
ass.
gonna kick names and take ass.
Yeah. Yeah, she was another favorite of mine.
I don't like Mantis. I'm sorry.
Okay, apparently I'm the only one sitting here that likes Mantis. Well,
I realized that in this movie. She's all right, but I'm not crazy about her. She's not one of my favorites. Sorry, I had to throw that out.
Wow. All right. Glad to have Mantis around. So, as I try to wrap up my thoughts on this one, is there anything that could have made this particular movie better? Sure. As always, there's only one thing that could probably make it better. And that's if he was in this movie. Otherwise, the movie was pretty good on its own. He's going to stand right here. Maybe that's the title of the next one. Maybe they know DC screwed up.
Batman symbol.
I like where you're going.
Don't count on that, though. So, anyway, we hope you enjoyed that. Let us know your comments below. If you have any movies that you want us to talk about next. And yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already. And click that little bell icon so you're notified when we upload. And
I'm just saying. She's just saying. And we'll talk to you soon.